And we're back. And that might be the last time I say it for almost a year. We have Breaking Brad, congratulations, winning the Infinity Fantasy Baseball League Championship by a score of 461 to 437. It's like 24, 25 weeks. Before that, the draft and preseason and keeper selection, all of it comes to a wrap-up yesterday as Breaking Brad puts the nail in the coffin on hashtag and takes the championship. It was a fun week. There were games that had meaning all through the week. We're not going to get into those. I swear I am going to try my hardest to keep this thing into that 15-minute goal. I've failed all season, but this season there's only like one game to talk about, really. No disrespect to everybody else. I know you were playing for meaningful stuff to yourself, but just not going to do equal coverage. Just, you get it, right? Also, I'm not going to apologize, but clearly this is a championship following podcast, so there's going to be an overabundance of content tied to our championship game and some of the peripheral games around that, but also the alternative playoffs as well. So anyway, congratulations to our top three. Clearly Breaking Brad was celebrating, as we saw there. We got this clip from our third place Red Wine Redbirds. Now it's interesting because our championship, our leader, our winner, Breaking Brad, obviously celebrating a win. Red Wine Redbirds, third place, obviously celebrating a win. You know, they were playing in that bronze medal round against Arizona Diablos Blancos. So we got first and third celebrating a win. Second place, they did better than third, but they don't really celebrate because they're coming off a loss. Anyway, we're just going to play this because I have to admit that I think this is the coolest clip of the entire podcast this season. It speaks volumes. I mean, it doesn't get any cooler than that. Anyway, I would suggest hashtag that if it's possible, and I don't have the technical knowledge to do this, but if you could turn that into a GIF or a GIF or whatever you need and make that your avatar for next season, that would be pretty cool. I don't know, Mayor of Titty City did something that was pretty cool with their little avatar, and maybe you could turn this thing into one. I don't know. I don't have that kind of talent. Anyway, so what are we going to talk about in this podcast? Also, I'm pushing it to 20 minutes. There's no way to get 15. I'm already at 4 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit about the medal ceremony, of course. And there's actually multiple medal ceremonies, and I'll get into that in a bit. We're going to have some interviews. We're going to talk about the alternate playoffs, of course. We're going to go and do a season-ending power ranking. I know that'll make several of you happy, and it'll make most of you very unhappy. We're going to do a recap of the game, the championship game between hashtag Lallis and Breaking Brad. Then we're going to do an overall recap of the playoffs and then a quick recap of the season. We're also going to check in on a lot of those teams that were eliminated and what they've been doing and what they might be doing in the offseason. And checking my notes here, I think that's kind of it.
I have waited a long time for this moment.
Okay, so first thing we got here is some clips, or a clip of the actual gameplay. This is taken from probably the first 2/3 of the game, up to about the 6th, maybe 7th inning. All right, as you can see, it's not looking good for hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons. And this was a real quick clip down in the tunnels behind the dugout about what hashtag thought might be causing him to fall behind.
What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I think he might be onto something because we got this clip as well from the Fantasy Baseball Gods.
Go home.
some rest.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we probably should do that.
The Bearded Dragons tried to stage a comeback. They had a starting pitcher advantage. Again, tune into my favorite journalist. You can find him out there on the internet somewhere. Great game by game, day by day recaps. Anyway, Bearded Dragons looked like he had one last ditch effort to win. He had the starting pitcher advantage. He had Bearded Dragons not on the ropes, not in any stretch, but he certainly had Bearded Dragons in a point where on Saturday, Sunday, he could have laid the death blow. Unfortunately, this is the clip of the final innings and the end of the game.
Oh no, I am losing. It would appear this is not one of your hobbies.
So that's it. Quick game recap. Everybody was following it. Everybody was watching it. Probably didn't even need to do that because you clearly know what was going on day by day because of that journalist guy. But anyway, have to put a game recap into the podcast.
I'm much sadder than the rest of you. I will figure out why later.
All right, so next we're going to go into the interviews, right? We have the clips. You guys have them? Okay, they're ready? Awesome. So our field reporters out there were able to catch up to our winners and our losers and answer some questions. We got some good info. What? Oh, real? Oh, okay. One second. Right now? Oh, we got to do it now. Okay. Just got word. The medal ceremony is happening right now. We've got a live feed. We're going there now. Wow, that was beautiful. I've played fantasy sports for decades, and I don't think in any of my history I have seen a medal ceremony done with the class of what we just saw there with the Infinity Fantasy Baseball League. Just fantastic. Just hats off to everybody who organized that. Just spectacular. Spectacular. Now, here's another thing, though. Do we have the international medal ceremony? Okay, so we got the clips already. So it's an interesting little time issue here. But anyway, the international medal ceremonies have also occurred, and we've got film from some of those. As you would imagine, the Infinity Fantasy Baseball League is an internationally recognized fantasy league, and it has spectators from all over the world. Some places are far more into it than others, and we've got, I think, at least 2, maybe 3 medal ceremonies. I don't know what country this first one comes from. I'm not even going to guess. So let's just go there. So this is kind of interesting. Before we move on to the next medal ceremonies, I want to point out something. You probably noticed that Red Wine Redbirds was not on the podium in this particular medal ceremony. and Arizona Diablos Blancos was. So that kind of caught me by surprise. And in this particular country, they celebrate first, second, and fourth. I'm not sure why, but I did verify that. This has absolutely nothing to do with the interns making clips on Friday and Saturday, assuming another person was going to win that bronze medal game. Not at all. Has nothing to do with that whatsoever. And then one of these clips sneaked through. Nothing to do with that at all. I verified that this country, it is in their culture to celebrate first, second, and fourth. Presumably third place is a cursed position, and they never celebrate the third spot. But again, nothing to do with any possibility that some of the clips had been made before the bronze medal game was played out to the end. Okay, this next medal ceremony comes from North Korea. I'm not even sure if they allow us to show the whole thing, but let's at least roll what we've got. All right, so this is a quick clip. I told Breaking Brad I'd put this into the podcast. He sent it to me. He thought he looked pretty cool in his tux. And I said I'd put it out there for everybody to see. This was before he went to, I think, one of the international medal ceremonies. I'm not sure which one, but black tie affair, obviously. Okay, so now I want to move into just a recap of the playoffs. And really, we're not going to follow everybody's games. That's just too many, 4 rounds, all those people. This is really just Breaking Brad, our champion. Again, most content's going to be staying with him. Why? Because he won the championship. Anyway, this is a clip of Brad going through round by round and just showing each quick clip of each game he had in the 4 rounds to the championship. Okay, now before I do the season recap, and I think we've got, let me check my notes here. Yeah, we've got 2 good clips for a season-wide recap, and that's going to incorporate a lot more than just Breaking Brad. It'll incorporate exactly what this season, basically it's a 15-second snapshot of what this season looked like in hindsight. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about some of the teams, not all of them, because we got 14 teams that weren't really playing baseball this week, and what some of these teams do. Now, this first clip, I will say, caught me by surprise, but hey man, to each their own. Just glad people are doing something.
You're a bad thing. I know I fucked up. I'm just a loser. Shouldn't be with ya. Guess I'm a quitter while you're out there drinking. I'm just thinking about where.
And this clip here, this is a little bit different. So that first clip, self-motivated folks, maybe it was Hit Pitches, Get Bitches that probably coordinated the dance moves. I'm not so sure who got the group together. But this one here, sometimes people get bored and they ring the commissioner, and the commissioner has to help them fill their non-baseball time.
In the meantime, feel free to watch Korean pop videos.
What is this, and how can I make the rest of my life about it?
That reminds me, it's before we get to the season recap, I just want to talk a little bit about the commissioner. And when I say a little bit, I mean like a really little bit. But anyway, we all know the commissioner put this league together, and he does a lot of work behind the scenes to keep things going. So kind of on behalf of everybody that's playing in the league, thank you, Mr. Commish. It's great, and we know the life of a commissioner is much different than the life of a manager of a team. You're doing both. Anyway, we all just wanted to say thanks.
I wish I could live a normal life, but I can't. I'm a businessman. I live a business life. I do business things. I read the newspaper. I eat salad. I don't call people. People call me, and I decline their call. I don't have time to talk. I'm busy. I'm practicing staring at myself in the mirror without screaming. I'm better than you. I post photos of myself online holding a bottle of champagne. That's the grind, baby. Call me Monty Hall, because I'm making deals. I fly business class. I have business meetings. When someone asks me what's wrong, I say none of your business.
Okay, but still, sincerely, thank you. Thank you for putting this league together and keeping things balanced and fair. All right, so just a quick look back at the season. It was a long season, 25 weeks or something like that. Now that we have the benefit of reflection and we can look backwards at the season, yeah, this was what we found.
The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo. One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see!
So also I thought that might be a little bit too high level, so we got a little bit more detailed. And this is the detailed recap of the season. All right, so here's a teaser from this Sunday's 60 Minutes. Interviews with the two teams that were in the championship game. Thank you for joining us here, Mr. Breaking. First question. What do you attribute this dominant season to? Breaking Brad's dominant season.
The way to explain it is I typically do not engage in things that I cannot definitively win.
I see. Now, I'm looking at social media and there are a lot of people who want to know what you would do if you didn't win in 2023.
Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very astute. Very, very astute. I have one last question for you, and that is, it was clear during the keeper season and with the research I did regarding the draft and many of your add drop transactions that you like to collect prospects. Could you tell us what that strategy entails and where you're going to take that and what you expect it to accomplish?
What do you do with all these underpants that you steal? Collecting underpants is just phase 1. Phase 1, collect underpants. So what's phase 2? Hey, what's phase 2? Phase 1, we collect underpants. Yeah, but what about phase 2? Well, phase 3 is profit. Get it? I don't get it. You see, phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 2, phase 3, profit.
Okay, now we move on to hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons, where Breaking Brad was the champion of the, looks like the Fantasy Baseball League, here are my notes, yeah. So hashtag, is it Lawless or Lowless Bearded Dragons? Okay, so hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons. As I'm pronouncing that last word correctly, dragons, okay. Often my children and I get dinosaurs and dragons mixed up, but they are in fact different things. I had the 60 Minutes research folks look into that. Anyway, my question for you is, we ran a poll of 437 Americans, and they were unanimously voted that you would crash and burn this season. And I just wanted to see what you thought of that.
I don't know what other guys have said, or I just felt it difficult to read. You know, sometimes I lost my train of thought. Yeah, hearing that bullshit. Fucking Christ.
All right, we're starting over. We're going to enjoy that at the TV compound.
I honestly wouldn't even care.
Well, thank you for your time here. I hope the questions weren't too painful. And anyway, good luck maybe next season. Maybe we'll see you next season. I can't believe my producers even have me doing this shit. There's a presidential election. There's a war in Ukraine. There are at least 5 coups in Africa. I think Ecuador is in civil revolt. The economy's shit. And we got a president who is pretty much dysfunctional and poops in his diaper 90% of the time. And I'm covering some fantasy baseball. This is ridiculous. I'm done. All right, before we move into the alternative playoffs, we've got this one additional award. I don't know, but let me just play the clip, and we have one additional award to give out.
For taking the best ass whooping, Chris.
Now that awkward moment is over, let's move into the alternative playoffs. And first, we're going to start with the total points format. So again, if you don't remember, this is if the playoff brackets were built based on total points scored. You can see this on the screen, and the overall winner was Breaking Brad topped Hit Bitches, Get Bitches. I don't know the score. It was last week. It was one of the alternative playoffs. You'll have to do that research on your own. But Breaking Brad is our total points playoff winner. Now we move on to the let's move on to the team playoffs. That was my favorite. The team playoffs had Bat Flippin' Boys and Krusty Brand Baseball facing Red Wine Redbirds and Matt's Marauders. So in this one, unbelievably good match. Bat Flippin' Boys and Krusty just dominated from start to finish, and they are our team champion. They are the team champion for the Infinity Fantasy Baseball League.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. The music loud, women walk, being kicked around since I was born. Never tolerate, I'm okay, and you may look the other way, but we can try to understand and do your time, I make no man. Whether you're taking away, you're staying alive.
Now this last one, this is what I've considered to be the legitimate playoffs, right? This is the playoffs, the everyone versus everyone playoffs. We've done this all season, and it's been a hit for everybody who's not ALD3's Sour Grapes. Who this was not their favorite thing to look at. This was not their favorite moment of the podcast. And I think, between this and teasing them, I think on one of the weeks on some praise before we actually found out how lousy they were in an everyone versus everyone format, I think I kind of pissed them off. And I suspect there's others that I pissed off as well.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Hey guys, I'm feeling like it's the end of the season, and maybe there should be some resolution between ALD3, Sour Grapes, myself, and anybody else that I've irritated. I feel a little bit bad about it, but mostly I'm just a little terrified of that last clip. So if you can get ALD3 Sour Grapes on the phone, I'd like to chat with them and maybe, I don't know what I'll do, but I'd like to chat with them on the phone a little bit. Thanks. In this everyone versus everyone, one of the things I've been trying to do is establish this as the legitimate playoffs. I went ahead, I got some funding, I had I don't know what you call it, but those airplanes that drag the banner behind them. Anyway, I had a big banner printed up talking about the legitimacy of the everyone versus everyone playoffs, and I had that plane circle New York City all day yesterday on Sunday, the championship, the final day of the championship. In this format, hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons was facing Hit Pitches Get Bitches, and hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons had the win. Unbelievably close match. Great playoffs in that series. Hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons is what I am considering, what this podcast is formally considering our one true champion, for whatever that's worth.
All we do is win. All we do is win. We were gonna be champions, taking over stadiums. Yeah, you know we're killing them.
All right, it is power ranking time, the time you have all waited for and had to wait for 4 weeks. This is it. This is the end of season final power ranking. So I think our first two, our top two are already known, but let's go to the bottom. The number 16 team. This is just a terrible season for this team, and you know it's Raleigh fingers. Let's just be open about it right there.
What?
He can't see here.
What can't see what?
Because I don't have no balls here.
What do you mean you have no balls?
Is there supposed to be balls in here?
There's balls in your sack, dude. They're fine, dude. They don't go away.
There's no in here. What if those
Chloe,
go in
knock
here?
it off, dude. What are you talking about?
Remember,
I don't need to see them.
do you know there's no balls in? There's no the thingies?
What thingies?
The round thingies?
So from there, we're going to flip to the top. Now I'm going to do something different. We're doing full 16 team power ranking. I don't do that during regular season. But right now, at the end of the season, you guys deserve a 16 team ranking. So number 16, Raleigh Fingers. Second, our top two teams. I think you know who they are. Breaking Brad, hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons.
Hate us because they ain't us.
Exactly. They hate us because they ain't us. That's a great saying, okay?
Hate us because they ain't us.
They hate us because they ain't us.
All right, so for the next ones, for 3, 4, and 5, our top 5, we got 2 celebrities. 2 of the hottest celebrities. I mean, like biggest celebrities. They're not necessarily the hottest, but the biggest celebrities on the planet. One, because they're just a genuinely good human being. The other, because they're the opposite of a good human being. Nonetheless, I'm going to take it away. I'm going to give it to them, and they're going to give you the top 5.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a mistake.
Now number 5. I never wanna hear you say,
Woo! I want it that way.
Okay, so and when this is all done, I'm going to give you a proper ranking, written ranking, so you can see what's all going on, because I know this stuff is more complicated than it's worth. But anyway, here is number 6 through 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, and then just to keep this confusing and perhaps the worst possible way to communicate a power ranked top 16 teams, here is 10 through 14. Now we know who 16 is, right? We know who that is. 15, I guess you just process of elimination know who it is. But here's 15 and 16 together.
Ho, hi ho, it's on to work we go. Hi ho.
All right, and here's your list, right? I mean, I don't know why I did all the silly clips and all that stuff. This is really what you want. Just summarize it for me right up front. And anyway, this is what you're looking for. It was a good season for everybody. A lot of moving around here at the end. We had some teams plummet. We had some teams climb. Look at Team J to the P. Climbed out of the cellar. Not bad. Look at Shohei Can You See. Just a dreadful fall. They were first place in their division, and they wind up 9th overall.
Will I get over it? No. But life goes on.
I think hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons had a wonderful end of the season. They often were not even in the power rankings, and they climbed up there. Red Wine Redbirds, perhaps with the biggest climb, or at least the move from basically bouncing around and then finally finishing in third. And then, middle of the road, that stuff was changing all the time. But yeah, a good season with the power rankings, and that's a wrap for the power rankings.
Wow, that's great. Well, I am sorry, and maybe we can get together sometime and have some coffee or something.
Sure, I'd like that.
Okay, well, I'll see you around.
Okay. Bye.
That's it. Playoffs are over. Season is over. Podcast is over. This has been one of the most fun, maybe the most fun, but if not the most fun, one of the most fun fantasy seasons I have ever had. I even was middle of the pack, and I still had one of the most fun fantasy seasons. Trying to keep up with all of you guys and girls, it is not easy. It is not easy for any of us. And I will let you know that I worked Monday through Sunday on trying to keep that team going and trying to build it to beat some of you SOBs out there. But man, it was a blast. It was a total blast. Now, we got a little bit of fantasy football, not the same thing. We got our keepers date, I think somewhere in February. We got the draft probably in March. A little ways away, but I'm going to miss this stuff a lot. I'll let y'all know that. But now it's time to rest, time to get some time back. Anyway, I just want to say thank you to everybody for just a great season. Great season. Adios, everybody.
I finally rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
Where to?
Home. I'm going home.
Woman, I don't know where the fuck you live.
Oh.
It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.